Welcome to DJ's Dancefloors and I-Dos, the podcast that helps engaged couples like you plan an unforgettable wedding day, one beat at a time. Hello there, I'm your host, Shane Griffin, professional wedding DJ and MC with over 20 years experience, and right here, I share real advice, smart planning tips, and behind-the-booth insights to help you feel confident, organized, and ready to celebrate your big day. Congratulations! Whether you're just starting out or deep into wedding planning, you are in the right place. Thanks for being here. Now, before we get started with today's episode, a couple of quick reminders, if I may. First, check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Shane Griffin Entertainment. Secondly, like and subscribe this podcast so you can be alerted when new episodes drop. And third, be sure to check our website, letshaneentertain.com. There you can find our list of entertainers, pricing, vendor referral partners, our very informative blog, and everything really that you need to help you make informed entertainment decisions. And lastly, I've developed a free ebook, and it's called The Bride's Guide to Wedding DJs, and it's available to you for free. Simply send me an email, shanegriffinentertainment@gmail.com. That's shanegriffinentertainment@gmail.com, and I'll send it right out to you. Okay, let's jump into episode 16, Charleston Destination Wedding Tips, what every out-of-town couple should know. Let me start today's episode with a question. Why do so many couples choose Charleston for their wedding? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Charleston is absolutely beautiful. The historic architecture, the waterfront views, the oak trees, the churches, the food, the hospitality, and the Charleston charm. It's easy to understand why Charleston has become one of the most popular destination wedding cities in the country. In fact, over the years, I've worked with couples from New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Texas, California, and just about every state in between over my 20-plus years. Many of them have never visited Charleston. Many of them have never lived in Charleston. They simply fell in love with the city and decided this was where they wanted to celebrate. And honestly, I don't blame them. Charleston is a fantastic place to get married, but here's the challenge. Planning a wedding is difficult enough when you live, let's say, 20 minutes from the venue. It's a completely different animal when you're planning from hundreds or maybe even thousands of miles away. So today, I want to share some practical advice that can help destination couples avoid common mistakes, reduce stress, and create a smoother wedding experience. Because while Charleston weddings can be magical, successful destination weddings require a little extra planning. Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions couples have: the weather here in the Lowcountry. Now, if you've spent any time online looking at Charleston wedding photos, you've probably seen gorgeous blue skies, waterfront sunsets, and beautiful outdoor ceremonies. And yes, those things absolutely happen. But Charleston weather can be very unpredictable. I've seen weddings with perfect weather forecasts suddenly deal with afternoon thunderstorms. I've seen outdoor ceremonies delayed by rain. I've seen summer weddings encounter heat indexes approaching triple digits and sometimes in the triple digits with heat index. I've seen spring weddings surprised by wind. The lesson? Always have a weather backup plan. And I don't mean simply hoping, quote unquote, for good weather on your big day. I mean having an actual plan. If your ceremony is outdoors, ask your venue what happens if it rains. Where does the ceremony move? How quickly can that transition happen? How does it affect guests? How does it affect photography? The couples who experience the least stress aren't the ones who get lucky. They're the ones who plan ahead. Like what you hear so far? Then give us a like and be sure to subscribe. If you're a newly engaged couple, this podcast was built specifically for you. DJ's Dancefloors and I-Dos. Today we're discussing Charleston Destination Wedding Tips, what every out-of-town couple should know. Now let's talk about another challenge destination couples often underestimate, and that's transportation. This one catches people off guard all the time. A bride may look at a map and think, oh, the hotel is only 10 minutes from the venue. Sounds simple enough until wedding day arrives. Traffic increases. All of a sudden, road construction appears. Parking is limited, especially downtown. Guests get lost. Shuttles run behind, and suddenly, what looked like a simple 10-minute drive becomes half an hour. One of the best investments many destination couples make is transportation planning. Think through these things. Where are guests staying? How are they getting to the ceremony and the reception? How are they getting back? The fewer transportation questions your guests have, the better their experience is going to be. And remember, your guests are visiting a city they may not even know. Make things easy for them. Another important tip, visit Charleston before booking if you can. I know that's not always realistic for some of you. Sometimes schedules don't cooperate. Sometimes travel costs, those add up. But if you can visit before making major decisions, do it. Photos are helpful. Videos are helpful. Virtual tours are very helpful. But nothing replaces standing in a venue and experiencing that venue yourself. How does it feel? What's the layout like? Where will guests gather? Where will the dancing happen? What about the ceremony? Where will that take place? The more familiar you become with your venue, the easier planning then becomes. And speaking of planning, let's talk about local vendors. This may be one of the most important pieces of advice in today's episode, so listen carefully. One key, build a strong local team. And we here at Shane Griffin Entertainment, we can certainly help you do that. We have contacts in the transportation world, florists, caterers, whatever you need from getting there to getting home and everything in between, we can certainly help you in that regard. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to hire every local vendor simply because they're local. One of the biggest mistakes destination couples make is trying to manage everything from afar with vendors they've never met in a city they don't know. But there are real advantages to working with professionals who know Charleston. They know the venues, they know the traffic patterns, they know the unpredictable weather, and they know the common challenges here in the Lowcountry. And perhaps most importantly, we know each other. One of my favorite things about the Charleston wedding community is how connected it is. Many of us have worked together dozens, sometimes hundreds of times over the years. We've built relationships, we've solved problems together, we've seen what works, and we've seen what doesn't work. And when vendors already know how to work together, your wedding day tends to run more smoothly, obviously. I've had weddings where the photographer, planner, caterer, and myself, the DJ, we all knew each other or were vendor referral partners. And that all happened before the event even started. That familiarity creates efficiency. It creates communication. It creates confidence. And confidence is absolutely valuable on a wedding day. Now let's talk about something that destination couples often forget. Your guests are on vacation too. Think about it. Your wedding is the centerpiece of the weekend, but for many guests, the experience starts days before the ceremony. They're booking flights, finding hotels, exploring Charleston, maybe making restaurant reservations, walking King Street, visiting the beaches, taking those cherished carriage rides downtown. They're creating memories of the city itself. So whenever possible, think beyond the wedding day and consider sharing favorite restaurants, local attractions, transportation recommendations, things to do during their free time. The easier you make the weekend for your guests, the more they enjoy the experience. And when guests enjoy the overall experience, they arrive at your wedding, dare I say, in a better mood. And that matters. Now let's talk about timing. Destination weddings require more buffer time than local weddings do, in my opinion. This is one of the biggest planning mistakes I see. Couples often create timelines that work perfectly, on paper down to the minute. The problem? Real life rarely follows the paper version. Flights get delayed. Guests arrive late. Hair and makeup may run long. Traffic patterns appear again. Photos take longer than expected. Someone forgets something back at the hotel. Things happen. So build extra time into your schedule, and more than you think you'll need, because buffer time, trust me, is not wasted time. Buffer time is a stress reducer. I've never had a couple tell me after their wedding, Shane, I wish we had less time. But I've had plenty say, I'm so glad we built extra time into that timeline. Now let's talk specifically about entertainment. As a professional wedding DJ and MC with over 20 years experience, I can tell you that destination weddings, they often have a different energy than local weddings. Why? because people are away from home. They're relaxed. They're excited. They're celebrating an entire weekend, not just a single evening. And that creates opportunities. I've seen destination wedding dance floors stay packed longer. I've seen guests more willing to participate. I've seen family members reconnect after maybe years of being apart. I've seen entire wedding weekends create memories that people talk about for years after. But that energy only happens when the planning supports it. And one thing destination couples sometimes overlook is the importance of communicating with their entertainment team early. Don't wait until the final week. Talk through your vision. Talk through your guests. Talk through the atmosphere you're trying to create. Are you looking for a formal black tie experience or a more laid-back coastal celebration? Do you want an all-out dance party when it's time to hit the dance floor? The more information you can give your DJ, the better they can help bring that vision to life. Would you like a copy of my free ebook titled The Bride's Guide to Wedding DJs? Simply send me an email, shanegriffinentertainment@gmail.com. That's shanegriffinentertainment@gmail.com. No strings attached. A free 8-page guide that will help you immensely as you're making those critical entertainment decisions and possibly making those from out of town. Now here's one final Charleston-specific tip for you. Understand the season you're choosing. Charleston is gorgeous year-round, but every season comes with its own considerations. Spring is gorgeous. It's also one of the busiest and rainiest seasons of the year. Fall is incredibly popular. Summer can be brutally hot and humid. Winter does offer unique opportunities and often greater venue availability. There is no right answer, but understanding the season helps set expectations. And realistic expectations are one of the keys to a successful wedding. A few years ago, I worked with a couple from the Midwest who had never planned an event in Charleston before. And like many destination couples, they were a bit nervous. They worried about the weather. They worried about transportation. They worried about coordinating vendors from hundreds of miles away. And honestly, those concerns were understandable. But they did something smart. They surrounded themselves with experienced local professionals. They asked questions. They communicated often. They built contingency plans. And so when the wedding day arrived, they were able to actually enjoy it. Not because everything went perfectly. Very few weddings are perfect. But because they were prepared. I often say, the success is in the prep. Preparation creates confidence. Confidence creates enjoyment. And enjoyment creates memories. That's really what destination wedding planning is all about. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. Here's my final thought for you. Charleston is one of the most beautiful wedding destinations in the country. But successful destination weddings don't happen by accident. They happen through planning, communication, flexibility, and surrounding yourself with great local people. Build a strong local team. Give yourself extra time. Prepare for the unexpected. It will happen. And most importantly, remember why you're here in the first place, to celebrate one of the most important days of your life. Thanks so much for listening to DJ's Dancefloors and I-Dos. If today's episode helped you feel more confident about your wedding entertainment plans, I would simply love for you to follow this podcast, leave us a kind review, or share it with someone newly engaged. Our goal here is to provide free, unbiased content to help you make better entertainment decisions. DJ's Dancefloors and I-Dos is a presentation of Shane Griffin Entertainment, produced by Rob Duran. Check us out on social, Facebook and Instagram at Shane Griffin Entertainment, and also visit our very informative website, LetShaneEntertain.com. That's LetShaneEntertain.com. One more reminder about our free ebook titled The Bride's Guide to Wedding DJs. To request your free copy, send me an email, shanegriffinentertainment@gmail.com. Join us for our next episode, number 17, Reception Timeline Mistakes That Can Ruin Your Wedding Day. Until then, cheers!